a girl named Quinn. On the side of seeing a girl named Rebecca. Rebecca, although was 15, I was 19.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Nothing ever happened. You're
just
we got hot and heavy one night, but she didn't want to do anything. Which was a good choice.
Yes.
But I was 19, and
of course, you have a different mindset.
Something was going to happen. So I cheated on her 3 times. I cheated on her with a girl who was actually played your wife in because I am 25.
Seen 5-star before. You don't know this, but we have weekly cast members, and often we challenge them every week and tell them to do something they haven't done before. We try to push their boundaries and get them to explore new things out in the world and their butts. And it's great. And this next performer has been on a journey this summer, okay? We had him go on stage, basically nothing but a G-string and fuck the floor for 4 minutes, and it was fucking glorious, all right? All right. That being said, this week I told this performer, I want you to get a button-down shirt, and I want you to milk the fuck out of that shirt. I want you to go real slow. And I want you to do it to Alabama Shake song, okay? Give me all that love. Yeah. It's also just a reason why I just want to see him do it. You know, sometimes I come up with these ideas and I'm like, I just want to see him fuck the floor for 4 minutes. You know what I mean? More about me and less about him. You know what I mean? But I have the microphone. Yeah. Okay, are you ready to welcome out?
As I did shows, Mercury Stardust and Mama Lucius would come up with these challenges that I would do. Each week would be a new challenge. Each week would be something invigorating, something that would be more off the cuff, but it would challenge my ability to grow as a performer, to match expectations and push the bar farther. However, what started to turn into a monster in and of itself was when you get paid. I got paid through Star Tease through their PayPal, and in getting paid through that, they, being a business set up that way to pay you, there's a seller's fee that's attached to it. So you say, for example, you earn $70. Everybody got $70. However, with the seller's fee, $5 was taken out, or $10 was taken out. Whatever the seller's fee would be on there, you got less than that, but you still got paid. It became one of those things that when I brought it to Mercury Stardust, I was told it was just part of the business. You know, it's just a thing. You know, you get paid. So I didn't think much of it. However, as I did performances, as I continued to grow, the amount that we would get paid at the end was all the same. However, getting paid $5 or $10 less makes a big deal. And for some reason, after talking with other people, no one else had that seller's issue, and no one else was losing money the way that I was. And over time, I got really, it became a nuance, and it became something that I was really annoyed with how I was getting paid. But I was humble, and I was understanding.
And I focused building like shows and burlesque shows and festivals, and I became a notable person within the burlesque community. And I really do credit that to be where everything started, because I had people all across the country knew about 5-Star Tease, which was one of the longest running weekly shows in the country at one point. So yeah, we would bring some of the biggest names in burlesque right here in Madison, which is a wild idea. you know, some of the largest names in the world would come here and perform because it was a good, fun place for queer and trans performers to come. So when I started that, I really do think that was what changed everything too.
He's a phenomenal performer and very into our wonderful community here in Wisconsin. But here's the thing, I love to challenge our weekly performers, especially when they're just, chipping away at the whole, getting into burlesque. I kind of like to fuck with him is what I'm trying to say, all right? And last week after his amazing performance, I told him, hey, during that act, he was not allowed to do any peels besides one peel, and he had to fuck the floor for 5 minutes, and he did such a beautiful job. It was so beautiful. It was really amazing, wasn't it? For those who saw, it was so good. Yeah. And then after that act, I was like, fuck you, we're going to do something really stupid. Because I have the power of God, right? I can do what I want. I run the show. So then I told him, okay, I want you, this is how drunk off of power I was, I want you to do a number where you're some type of under-the-water person or underwater animal, and you got to perform to a song from 1985. Now, this person has no concept of time, and they had no idea what songs came out at all, so he did all his research, and tonight, I gotta tell you, I have no idea what's gonna happen. I have no idea. I know I listened to the song, and I thought, how does that make sense for an underwater thing? And he's still doing it, so we're gonna like it, okay? We're gonna like it. All right, go. He's honestly one of my favorite new performers. Please welcome to the stage, the absolutely delightful, but absolutely outrageous, and somewhat delirious, the wonderful Arctic Delight!
So, as a burlesque dancer, my number is all mine.
Yeah, it's all on you.
It's 5 minutes of me. And any good artist will tell you that any art form is about justification. And I always have reasons why I am stripping. It's not about, hey, look at my dick. It's not about any of that. I don't care. That's just like a side note to me.
You want to know what
But yeah, so basically I wanted to have more control. And for 3 to 5 minutes, they're going to listen to what I have to say because I'm going to be naked. They're going to be listening to it. They're going to be watching me. They're
Are you naked?
No, but basically I am.
Yeah, you're just wearing like a...
It might be dynamic.
Yeah.
The thing, though,
Sleepover.
I don't believe in being in purgatory. I deserve more than to be in limbo with somebody.
I totally agree.
You know,
be straight up.
And I would never do that to anyone else. You know, in the case of Tierna, I gave her
a lot of time, a lot on me. And I was, as you have stated, I made a lot of poor decisions. The smartest thing I ever did for everybody was be smart enough to know that I was a shitty leader and move on. Like, I'm a good figurehead. I can talk the talk really well. But in the bottom line, I do make dumb decisions. And I say things that I shouldn't be saying to people. You have seen it, I have seen it, Bree has seen it. And I don't mean to. I try really hard not to be a shithead. But sometimes I'm a fucking shithead. And I'm not the person I wish I was. At all. And I saw what I was doing. I saw who I was hurting. I saw the people that I cared about. And I didn't know what to do anymore. I didn't know how to talk to you guys and not get mad because it's hard for me not to fly off the handle about things.
And that's why I felt like things kept getting fake because you say, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. Why can't we just...
I thought that if I kept telling you that I wasn't mad, that we can just push it down and be okay with it. I was wrong. We should have dealt with it right ahead. We should have just screamed at each other and got it out. So it was out. But I didn't do that. Everything that you talked about, I can go with it step by step and tell you how I fucked it up. Because you're not wrong about those things. But you have to understand, when you're running a troupe, and you're doing it from scratch, and the only example you have is some guy in his 50s that's so out of touch with reality that I didn't know what I was doing either. I was making decisions. I didn't know what to do. All the times that you described about me, like, saying, I want you to do this number and the knockers thing, you're absolutely right. I shouldn't be doing those things, but I didn't know what else to do as a troop leader. I thought that's what you do. That's what you don't do. You don't do those things. You don't force someone to do a number they don't want to do. But I was slowly learning it. But I knew I was never going to be happy with that. Because I see these numbers and it's hard for me to watch a number and not subject my own shit in together.
So
because you told me I was evil. And I'm sorry, but that crossed such a line with me and dug so deep because, are you kidding me? Like, evil.
yes, at the time.
No way in hell was I evil. I was trying to make the decisions to help everybody.
Okay, explain why you weren't evil. Because you were trying to help everyone? By
How the fuck is leaving a goddamn troop? How the fuck is getting neglected from you and your sister on a night when I'm performing evil? Like, come on, Casey. Get your head out of your ass and think about what you were saying to me.
I know what I was saying.
You were constantly badgering me on texts and emails. Constantly.
No, I texted you that night.
When I woke up in the morning.
I Facebooked you that night. I have the fucking emails and I have a text. And then when you weren't answering me, I was like, I guess we're fucking done. I had no clue what to do. And this whole fucking time, you've been saying, oh, I love you, I care about you guys, we're a family, whatever, we're the closest of the two. I told you we were going to be late. Because you changed it 3 times the call time. You changed our call time, you changed your call time every fucking night. You 3 left like 3 hours or 2 hours early. I think after the Thursday day one, you left 3 hours early, and you told us to be there at whatever time. And then you texted Peaches to tell us to be there at a different time, to be there earlier. I was not ready at that time. I texted you and said, I'm going to be late because I'm not ready and this is a last minute change. That's what that was about. The other fucking shows, I was fucking at time. I had all my shit together. I didn't ask you for a goddamn thing. I left you the fuck alone because every fucking show, I asked no one to talk to you because you were too busy with your own shit. And other people in the troop fucking agreed. They fucking have come to me about the same issues. And I said, I will handle that shit. Don't worry. If you need something, just come to me. Tour thing, you were all sucked up in your stupid pocket. So none of us fucking bothered you about that shit. Did our own shit. We got our own ticket. We ran our own numbers. We stretched. We did everything we needed to be prepared for that show, for ourselves to be on top of shit. We never hindered anyone else in the troop by us arriving late at whatever. That's what I'm like.
No, I never want to see myself.
I often wish that I had videotapes of all the ex-girlfriends I've had sex with, just so I could look back and go, yeah, I fucked that. Yeah, I did. Look at that technique. That's so fucked up.
I guess you just say a little more colors since you started podcasting.
I actually, it's been past 2 years because I started doing a show with me and my then girlfriend on New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow.
That was like a theater podcast. And I never released it because it was just me yelling at her about how she was wrong for like an hour.
Oh, wow. No wonder.
We got an argument about Shakespeare, and I fucking hate when people think that Shakespeare is about the written word. It's about the performance of another word.
No, totally. I agree.
Crazy.
A friend of ours and someone we went to Edgewood, who I think I know who I'm talking about, who had like the most amazing ass.
Oh yeah, we talked about this before.
I've ever seen. Yeah, incredible.
Hands down.
Bro, I got my hands on it at one point, and it was the most amazing thing I ever felt.
I remember when I had to catch her for like a stage fall and whatnot, and nice ass. Yeah, make sure that my hand slapped. Yeah, make sure my hand was there.
We made out once, and
well, you and I or her.
Yeah, you and I as well, but I'm talking about her, and I took full ass privileges. You got to. When you get your hands, when you had a specimen like that, you got to take advantage.
Your tongue is down her throat. You can do anything you want.
Oh yeah,
well, not rape her, but you can
pick her up.
Oh yeah,
by the butt.
Well, I mean, especially because she's 5 foot and you were like 6 foot.
So 2 lesbians were fucking on top of your car.
Yeah, I was a manager at McDonald's at the time. The reason why this is important because they were my employees.
Yes, and you had sex with people in the fridge and on the counter.
Yep.
Okay.
And we.
Wait, that did not happen at our McDonald's, correct, Lance?
Absolutely.
There wasn't anyone to have sex with.
Nobody wanted it to happen.
No.
We left my brother's wedding like at 2:00.
Yeah.
And then we went to McDonald's. We went to McDonald's.
Ooh,
late
got
night.
the heat going.
Well, this was like in Green Bay, like far away. And then we drove to a cornfield because we kept driving to places to purposely, do this. And we were gonna have a threesome, but the girls got scared about it. I mean, they wanted to. They made me jerk off. But I couldn't.
Did you make them watch?
No, they were just too busy scissoring.
Right.
Yeah, don't use his name that is confusing as shit. McWhorter.
Yeah.
His family is like, what does he say in an episode? He said his family is like half Irish.
Yeah.
And whatnot. It's so fucking confusing.
Yeah.
But he's a black man that has like an African name and then an Irish name behind it. It makes no sense.
And he does not sound black. Or
no, he doesn't. He's the most white man I've ever met.
He is.
I feel like there's a chance that I'm a little bit blacker than Adari.
It's possible.
There's
he did punch a guy in the face.
Do you want to hear that story?
Oh, that sounds
right. But when I left, when I was kind of asked to leave, right, and I started doing my own things, I was very determined to be better than you. It was such a it wasn't even about.
So I'm the reason you're successful. Is what you're saying.
No, well, this actually gets me to something. I did have a thought. This is so. I like telling painful truths.
Yeah, you definitely do.
About ourselves. And the painful truth is, I was a very bitter person even when I started blowing up on TikTok. And I do remember specifically hoping you knew. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, I'm blowing up. Oh, I hope John sees it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was even then, all those years later, I still had this in my heart that I was like, fuck you.
And that's, what's really...
I remember going to Matt and telling Matt that I was still pissed off about that 8 years, 7 years after it happened.
And you know what's the really interesting thing about that? And not to but I didn't, and for me, the situation was, once that happened and we stopped really talking as much as we used to, it was more of I just didn't, not that I didn't care, but that wasn't I wasn't ever going to get mad. When I found out how popular and successful you were, I was so happy for you. It's the exact opposite of the reaction that you thought I would have. Because, go ahead.
I built you up as a villain. I had for the longest
and that's the thing is that you think of other people this way when I never thought that. I only ever wanted you to succeed.
But you know what, actually,